My name is Lily, and I am a second-year student at a big university. I want to share my story with you, a story about trust, love, friendship, and learning things about people that I never expected to discover. It all started at the beginning of the semester. I had just finished my first year of university. I was feeling both excited and anxious about starting my second year. I had a lot of hopes and dreams for this year. I wanted to do better in my studies, make new friends, and maybe even find someone special to spend time with. One of the first days of the new semester, I was sitting in the library, trying to get some work done. I always found it easier to study in the quiet, calm atmosphere of the library. I was sitting at a table by the window, with my textbooks spread out in front of me. I had my headphones in, but I wasn't really listening to music. I was just trying to focus. Then, I noticed him. He was sitting at a table across the room from me. He had dark, curly hair and a quiet, focused expression on his face. He looked like he was studying hard, but there was something about him that caught my attention. He seemed different from everyone else. Most of the students around me were either talking to friends or distracted by their phones. Spia was completely but this guy absorbed in his work. At first, I didn't think much of it. I went back to my notes, trying to ignore the distractions around me. But after a while, I realized he was looking at me. When our eyes met, he smiled briefly and then quickly turned his attention back to his books. I wasn't sure why, but the smile made me feel a little nervous. It was strange, but also kind of nice. The next few days, I saw him again. He was always in the library, sitting at the same spot, angrily working on his assignments. Sometimes I would see him studying with friends, but more often, he was alone. One day, after several days of this strange routine, I finally decided to talk to him. I wasn't sure what came over me, but something told me that maybe I should introduce myself. So, I walked over to his table and said, "Hey, I've seen you here a lot lately. I'm Lily, a psychology student. What are you studying?" He looked up, clearly surprised, but then smiled warmly. "Hi, Lily. I'm Max. I'm studying business management." We shook hands, and I sat down across from him. We began talking, and the conversation flowed easily. He told me about his major, his interest in business, and his life back home. I told him about my psychology classes, my love for reading, and how I was adjusting to university life. From that day on, we started talking more regularly. We would run into each other on campus and chat between classes. Max was different from anyone I had ever met. He was funny, kind, and intelligent, but there was something about him that seemed distant, like he was holding back. YZ Day. As the weeks went by, Max and I became friends. We started sitting together in library, studying for our attend the library exams. And even having lunch together between classes. I started to enjoy his company more and more. He made me laugh, and we shared a lot of common interests. He was passionate about business, and I was passionate about psychology, but we found ways to talk about our subjects and interests. We even began to study together, helping each other with our assignments. Max was easy to talk to, and I found myself opening up to him in ways I hadn't with anyone before. I told him about my struggles with balancing school and life, about my fears of not being good enough, and about the pressure I often felt as a student. He listened to me patiently and never judged me. He was always encouraging, reminding me that everyone has their struggles and that I was doing my best. One evening, after a long study session at the library, Max invited me to grab coffee with him at a cafe on campus. I agreed, of course. Because I loved the idea of spending more time with him. As we sat down with our cups of coffee, I noticed that he seemed a little nervous. He was fidgeting with his cup, not looking at me as much as usual. "Lily," he started, his voice a little quieter than usual. "There's something I need to tell you. I've been meaning to say this for a while, but I didn't know how." I felt a sense of curiosity and anxiety build up inside me. "What is it?" I asked, a little concerned. Max took a deep breath and looked me in the eyes. "I think I'm starting to like you. Like Santo more than just as a friend. I've enjoyed getting to know you, and I can't help but feel that there's something more here. But I understand if you don't feel the same way." My heart skipped a beat. I didn't know what to say at first. I had been feeling the same way, but I wasn't sure if I was ready for a relationship. "Max, I think I like you too," I admitted, my voice soft. We both smiled, a little nervous but happy. It felt good to finally be honest about our feelings. We continued talking that night, and it felt like our friendship had shifted into something deeper. For the next few weeks, we started spending even more time together. We went on dates, watched movies, and studied together, but there was always a sense of excitement and happiness in the air. I felt like I was walking on cloud 9. Everything felt so right, and for the first time in a while, I felt like I was exactly where I was supposed to be. Day. But as time passed, I began to notice little things about Max that didn't quite add up. Day he would sometimes disappear for hours, not answering his phone or messages. He seemed distant when we were in group settings, and there were moments when I felt like I didn't really know him at all. One day, I decided to ask him about it. We were walking to class, and I said, "Max, I've noticed that you've been distant lately. Is something wrong?" "I don't want to pressure you, but I just want to make sure everything's okay." Max stopped walking for a moment, and I could see the worry in his eyes. "Why?" "Lily, there's something I haven't told you. Something I've been hiding for a long time, he said, his voice trembling. My heart raced, and I immediately felt a sense of dread. What is it? Max took a deep breath. I'm not just a student here. I've been dealing with some personal issues that I've been running away from. I'm not just studying business management, I've been avoiding my responsibilities back home. There are things in my past that I haven't been honest about, and I was afraid to tell you because I didn't want you to see me differently. I was silent for a moment, trying to process what he was saying. What do you mean, Max? I asked, my voice soft. Engel, what are you running from? Max looked down, his expression filled with regret. I've made mistakes, Lily. Big ones. I've hurt people, and I've been running away from it all. I came here to escape, to start fresh, but I can't keep pretending anymore. I felt my heart break in that moment. Everything I thought I knew about him suddenly felt like a lie. The man I had trusted, the one I had opened up to, was hiding something so deep and painful. I didn't know what to say, so I just listened as he explained the situation. It was hard to process, but I knew I had to make a decision. I had to decide whether I could continue to trust Max, even with all the secrets he had kept from me. In the end, I realized that trust was something I couldn't take for granted. I had to take a step back and think about what was best for me. I told Max that I needed some time to figure things out, and he agreed, understanding my need for space. The days that followed were difficult. I spent a lot of time reflecting on everything that had happened. I realized that while Max was a good person at heart, the lies and the secrets had caused too much pain for me to ignore. Eventually, I decided to end things with Max. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, but I knew it was the right choice for me. I needed to focus on my studies, my future, and most importantly, on myself. Though I was heartbroken, I learned a valuable lesson from the experience. Not everything in life planned, why thing in te goes as. And sometimes, people are not what they seem. But I also learned that I am strong enough to move forward, to trust myself, and to never settle for anything less than the truth. I continued my studies, a little wiser and more cautious, but held ready for whatever the future. It wasn't easy, but I knew that sometimes the hardest lessons lead to the most important growth.